Now let's complete the project on box model module. So this one is called Davie's Burgers, and in this project you will follow step-by-step instructions to fix a fictional restaurant's website. All of the HTML and most of the CSS is intact, but the box model properties have yet to be set. You will use knowledge of height, width, padding, border, and margin properties to complete this project. The website's existing index.html and style.css files are displayed in the text editor to the right. As you work, use both to see which elements you are selecting and styling. Most of the elements that you will need to add styles for already have rule sets in style.css, to which you can add additional declarations. As usual, if you get stuck during this project or would like to see an experienced developer work through it, click Get Help to see a project walkthrough video, and let's start the project. We have 8 tasks in total. Let's start with the first one. Close the pop-up message. You will go through Davie's Burgers menu item, roughly from top to bottom. Let's begin with styling the nav element containing the logo and navigation elements. Set the width of the image to 180 pixels. Center the image horizontally using the margin property. Okay. So nav image selector, set the width of the image element to 180 pixels and center the image horizontally using the margin property. Okay, it is already displayed block, so we just need to set margin to 0 auto, and now everything should be fine. Yep, the image is centered horizontally and it is 180 pixels wide. Now set margin of span elements inside the nav to 10 pixels on the top and bottom and 0 pixels on the left and right. Let's find the span elements right here, and now let's set its margin to 10 top and bottom and 0 right and left. Okay, and this one's completed, this one also. Now set some rules for the element with the class content. Let's find the selector right here. This element is container for all the elements not included in nav element. Okay, now set the height to 500 pixels. Create 10 pixels vertical margins and automatic horizontal margins. Okay, margin. So they want us to create a 10 pixel vertical margin, so top and bottom 10 pixels, and automatic horizontal margins on the right and left, so auto. And now set body elements inside content to have no vertical margin and automatic horizontal margins so that it is centered. And let's find the selector for that one. So right here, margin, no vertical margins, and automatically set the horizontal margins. Let's update our code. That looks fine. Now with a 500 pixels height for content, right here, some elements will overflow out of its box if the browser window is made too small. And now let's make content scrollable with the overflow property. So if you remember, it is overflow and then scroll. The value is scroll, and resize the browser window so it is very skinny, and notice that this section is now scrollable. First, let's update our code. Check that task completed. Okay, content element, element with the class content is right after the nav, so this whole element. And we will skip this for now. This resize the browser window, so it is very skinny, so we can notice the section is scrollable. If you inspect the page, you will see that the page isn't responsive and it is very ugly. I think it is not responsive on the fly. You need to refresh the page with the specific screen width, and then it renders only for that breakpoint and for that screen width. So just skip it for now. And I'm sure that we did everything correctly, so we don't need to check it anyway. And now let's continue to the next task. Now it is time to tackle the header and its H1 text. Barbecue bacon burger, and it is right here. Let me see in the HTML, right here. Set the height of the header class to 320 pixels. Let's find the H1, header H1. Okay, they want the height of 320 pixels. Create a 20 pixel padding for the H1 element inside the header element. Inside the header element, create 20 pixel padding on all 4 sides and set vertical margins to 0 pixels and horizontal margins to be determined automatically for the same H1 element. So we need to center the H1 element horizontally, so 0 auto, and let's update our code, and yes, it is centered now. Okay, let's check that completed. And now add some box model formatting to the order now button element. As you make each change, make sure to scroll down if necessary to view the effect on the button. Let me see the button. So order now. It is this button right here with the class button. Let's find that in the CSS right here. Set the width to 200 pixels. Set the padding to 20 on all 4 sides. Set the vertical margins to 40 and the horizontal margins to automatic. So vertical is top and bottom, and horizontal is left and right to 0. And give the button a 1 pixel solid blue border. So 1 pixel solid blue. Oops. Now let's save our code and let's scroll down and check our... And the button isn't centered horizontally because I made a mistake here. We need auto. I typed 0 instead, sorry. Now it should be fine. Yep, it is centered now. This one is also completed. Now let's complete the next one. Finally, style the nutrition facts section at the bottom. The element selected with ul.nutrition. So ul with the class nutrition right here. Set the padding of the ul nutrition element to 20 pixels. Okay, let's make some space inside of this element. So padding 20 pixels. Set the width of li elements within this ul element to 200 pixels. So here is the selector for the allies. 200 pixels. Set a 10 pixel vertical padding and 20 pixel horizontal padding to the same element. So same element, 20 pixel, 10 pixel vertical and 20 pixel horizontal padding. Now it's fine. And now let's add a 3 pixel bottom margin to the same element. So margin bottom 3 pixels. And now let's update our code. And it is much better now. It looks fine. Mark that completed. Good job. This menu item is looking great and the layout and spacing is much more readable. If you would like, you can continue refining the design or add your own spin. I'm fine with the current state. If you want, you can always go ahead and play with the code, play with the CSS and make it even better. And now let's continue to the quiz. That will be our first quiz in this box model module. And the quiz is called box model, of course, and start the quiz.